You think you're active. You think you're productive. You think you're building something. But most of what you call progress is reaction. Reaction to notifications. Reaction to messages. Reaction to trends. Reaction to other people's urgency. You wake up and the first thing you do is check your phone. You sleep and the last thing you see is someone else's life. You are constantly connected. And because you are constantly connected, you are constantly fragmented. Now imagine this. You disappear. No dramatic announcement. No taking a break post. No explanation. You simply stop participating. At first, nobody notices, and that will hurt, because you believed your constant presence mattered. But presence without depth is noise, and noise is replaceable. Most people don't fear failure. They fear invisibility. They fear being forgotten. They fear not being relevant. So they stay visible. They comment. They post. They react. They engage. They maintain digital existence to protect ego stability. But ego stability is not real power. Real power is built in silence. Every notification pulls you into someone else's narrative. Every reply splits your concentration. Every scroll shrinks your patience. And patience is required for greatness. Disappearing is reclaiming your nervous system. It is cutting stimulus. It is reducing noise. It is rebuilding focus tolerance. Because most people today cannot sit alone with their thoughts for 10 minutes. That weakness is your opportunity. The first 30 days will feel unnatural. You will wake up and instinctively reach for your phone. You will want feedback. You will want validation. You will want reassurance that you still matter. And when you don't get it, you will feel small. That feeling is withdrawal, not from people, from stimulation. In silence, your insecurities get louder. Your doubts get clearer. Your excuses get exposed. Because distraction was your anesthesia. Without distraction, you face raw reality. And raw reality does not flatter you. Most people return to noise at this stage. Because clarity is uncomfortable, but discomfort is transformation. The world celebrates intensity, but intensity is temporary. Identity is built in repetition. When nobody watches, when nobody applauds, when nobody comments, when nobody even knows. You train, you study, you build, you repeat, again, 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 and something shifts, not outside, inside. You stop needing motivation because discipline replaces it. You stop seeking recognition because self-respect replaces it. You stop chasing validation because competence replaces it. This is the phase where you become dangerous, not emotionally, strategically. Silence compounds. Each day without distraction deepens focus. Each week without noise sharpens clarity. Each month without performance strengthens identity. Most people live publicly. You begin living privately. Private effort creates public shock. 6 months later, you return. Not louder, not arrogant, different, calmer, sharper, more deliberate. And the difference is visible. When you disappear, the first thing that changes is not your results. It is your thinking speed. Without constant interruption, your thoughts go deeper. Instead of reacting in seconds, you start thinking in layers. Instead of emotional responses, you begin making strategic decisions. Most people live in surface-level thinking. They respond, they react, they argue, they defend. But the person who disappears stops defending and starts designing. You begin planning long-term. 6 months ahead, 1 year ahead. You stop chasing immediate satisfaction and start chasing leverage. Leverage is invisible at first, but once it compounds, it multiplies outcomes. That is what silence builds. Compounding leverage. You notice physical changes, mental endurance increases, your tolerance for boredom expands, and boredom is a weapon, because the one who tolerates boredom outworks the one who needs stimulation. Here is something people rarely talk about. When you disappear, others lose psychological access to you. They cannot predict you. They cannot monitor you. They cannot evaluate you in real time. And unpredictability creates perceived power. You become difficult to categorize, difficult to judge, difficult to label. And when people cannot label you, they project strength. Mystery amplifies presence. Overexposure kills it. While others seek validation, you build independence. And independence changes posture. It changes eye contact. It changes tone. You no longer speak to be approved. You speak because you have substance. Here is the hidden transformation. You stop measuring yourself by reaction. You start measuring yourself by execution. You stop asking, did they see it? You start asking, did I improve? That shift is everything. Pain tolerance increases. Discipline becomes identity. Silence becomes comfort. And comfort in silence means immunity to pressure. Most people collapse when ignored. You grow stronger. That is the edge. While others seek attention, you seek mastery. Mastery is quiet. Mastery is repetitive. Mastery is invisible until it is undeniable. And once undeniable, it does not require explanation. 6 months later, you return. You don't announce it. You don't explain it. You don't justify it. You simply exist differently. And people feel it. They notice your calm. They notice your composure. They notice your clarity. You don't try harder. You move slower. You speak less. You decide faster. And that difference creates gravity. You can stay visible, stay reactive, stay scattered, stay average, or you can disappear. 6 months, no noise, no performance, no unnecessary exposure, just repetition, just construction, just execution. Most people overestimate what they can do in a week and underestimate what they can build in 6 months. They look for visible progress, quick results, immediate proof. But 6 months of silence creates a discipline gap, a gap between you and the person who stayed visible. One version of you kept scrolling, kept reacting, kept commenting, kept explaining. The other version stopped performing, stopped reacting, stopped announcing, and started executing. That gap becomes massive. 6 months is not long, but 6 months of consistency is rare. Most people cannot maintain direction for 6 weeks. You maintained it for 24. That alone separates you. Most people won't disappear, not because they can't, because they're afraid. Afraid of irrelevance, afraid of missing out, afraid someone else will move ahead, afraid silence will erase them. But silence doesn't erase you. It refines you. Turning off visibility is turning on control. You decide when you are seen. You decide when you are heard. You decide when you return. That shift is power. Not loud power. Controlled power. The reward is not applause. The reward is internal stability. You no longer panic when ignored. You no longer react to criticism. You no longer chase validation, because you built identity privately. Identity that does not depend on reaction. Calm becomes default. Focus becomes natural. Execution becomes automatic. You don't need motivation. You don't need hype. You don't need attention. You need structure. And structure is what you built. 6 months later, you don't reintroduce yourself. You don't explain your absence. You don't justify your silence. You simply show up different, heavier, more grounded, more composed. While others still seek reactions, you seek results. While others compete for visibility, you compete with your past self. And that difference is visible immediately. Disappearing was not about hiding. It was about building without distraction, about removing access, about reclaiming control, about compressing growth. You didn't vanish. You upgraded, silently. And when you return, you don't need to dominate the room. Your calm does it. Your posture does it. Your restraint does it. Because real power is quiet. Disappear, build, return untouchable. OBS 1D in mind. Most people will scroll. A few will stay. If you're one of them, subscribe.